Hi guys, good morning. Happy Wednesday. This is Dr. Lisa coming to you from Tampa, Florida, where we are joining you daily to provide tips, summary of some interesting data regarding the virus, the science. I'm trying to dissect it for you so that you don't have to get too bogged down. Followed by my most important thing, which are daily tools you can use starting right now to make yourself happier, healthier, and less likely to have issues related to this current pandemic. And I end always with an affirmation. So today I felt very pulled to discuss mindset and mental health. And I wanted to tell you one of the scientific stats that got me interested in that, which is the fact that they are now noticing that patients who come into the hospitals with COVID-19 who have lower lymphocyte counts, which is a type of white cell, we'll get to that in just a minute, those patients are having much worse outcomes. So they're finding ways on basic blood work where they can actually screen people to be able to tell what their prognosis is. And that's exciting for a lot of different ways and reasons, treatment protocols, research into this virus. But for me, it also brought up a lot of interest in things that lower lymphocyte counts prior to getting the virus, because by definition, we're going to want our immunity and our white cells to be in top shape at this time. So everybody is kicking around the word or discussion about how do you boost your immune system. How many of us actually know what our immune system is? So it's made up of a lot of components, and I will briefly run through them. Your thymus gland, which helps to produce antibodies and becomes less active as we get older, which is right here in your chest. Your bone marrow, which produces your white cells and red cells. Your lymph system, which cleans out bacteria, fungus, and viral particles for you. And your spleen. And then most importantly for this discussion, your white cells. So your white cells are broken down into multiple different components, but for this discussion, we're going to talk about lymphocytes. There are two main lymphocytes. There are your B cells and your T cells. B cells are when you make antibodies, and many of you have heard about that, and we've been talking about it in relation to COVID-19 as a possible therapeutic option. But there are also something called T cells, and those are the ones that can kill viruses directly. So the T cell lymphocytes are the ones that we're most focused on when we're discussing the immune system in regards to COVID-19. And the T cells and lymphocytes in general are the most likely to be suppressed by stress. So how can we combat stress? Because at this point in the quarantine and the journey with this virus, I think it's almost impossible to have not felt stress at one time or the other. And for me, it's almost like a dance back and forth where I'm mostly very calm and centered, but I can get sucked into the collective and into the panic by other people, by the news, which I try to turn off, and why I'm providing these updates for you in a more upbeat and rational way. So 5 tips I have for you today. So these are, I would say, Dr. Lisa's 5 mental health tips, things that you can do that always help me pull me out of that state of feeling out of control. Number 1 is guided meditation. I've spoken about this before. You need to go on YouTube. It is not hard to meditate. It is not something that you are not good at, okay? Just go on YouTube, type in guided meditation. You'll find hundreds of free ones, and I want you to look out for The Honest Guys are one of my favorites, and Melanie Beckler at Ask Angels, I love her. Just hit play and breathe. You can do that for 10 or 15 minutes a day, and your lymphocyte count is going to go up. Number 2, music. Everyone's got a different type that they like, where you can just let go, whether you dance, whether you just kind of listen to it and get into your head of just that vibe of freeness where you can feel the music in your body. Whatever it is that works for you would be amazing, but music has a way of getting us out of that mindset and panic and fear. Number 3, grounding and sun gazing, so getting outside if you are in a place that you can, and most places are finally getting a little bit warmer. So get outside, try to connect to the earth, a tree, or putting your feet in the grass and let the sun in. That's one of my favorites. If you're my patient, you know that. Number 4, journaling. You can journal in lots of different ways. I have some very specific ones in my book, Get Lit, but I also have tools I can share with you where you just journal at night as if things are already perfect. I had the best day ever. My business is thriving. My relationships are incredible. And then in the morning, you dump out what needs to be said. So that's one type of journaling, but there are many others. So whatever appeals to you, if you just need to document how you're feeling, it gives it validity and allows you to release it as well. And my last tip, my 5th tip, probably my favorite, is Epsom salt. So if you don't have a tub, you can get a foot soak. The athletes were onto something when they started soaking in Epsom. Epsom, because of its crystalline nature, is able to help clear your energy field of fear, unworthiness, a lot of these guilt, grief emotions that are coming up for all of us right now as we're tapping into humanity, a collective, and we're having time to finally sit with our own emotions. So before I go, I wanted to share one last point, which is going underneath the frequencies of alcohol and marijuana doesn't help this. And it brought to light when I spoke to one of my close friends who is blind. She practices Jin Shinjitsu, which is an energetic healing technique. And she told me that when patients come in to see her, if they're drinking a lot and burying their emotions underneath alcohol or marijuana, that her energy movement technique does not work. So she can't move their stuck flows, and she sees them. It's almost like acupuncture. She can see the energies flowing. And when the alcohol and marijuana are coming in very high amounts, it's literally pushing these energy system and energy flows and frequencies that are trying to be released deeper into your field. So at this time, when we all have the choice, because we have the choice, do we want to remain stuck and sit and give in to these emotions of guilt, fear, grief, whatever else you're feeling, or do we want to take this opportunity as the gift that it is and let it go? Work through it, sit with it, try some of my 5 tips, and I'll leave you with an affirmation. Thank you guys again for joining me every day. I really look forward to it. I plan on continuing even after this virus just because I like connecting. I think we have a lot we can share together. So the affirmation for today is I go within and I release all that no longer serves me. I go within and I release all that no longer serves me. Happy Wednesday, wash your hands, and we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Thanks for joining me.